My front garden used to be the house everyone walked past without a second glance. Patchy grass, a few struggling shrubs, and absolutely zero personality. I was embarrassed every time guests arrived. Then I discovered that transforming curb appeal doesn't require thousands of dollars or hiring landscapers. It just requires knowing a few strategic tricks. Within 1 month and under $200, my front yard went from forgettable to the house people slow down to admire. Neighbors started asking for advice. A realtor even stopped to ask if I'd consider selling because my curb appeal had increased my home's perceived value so dramatically. Welcome to Daily Garden Fix, where we prove beautiful gardens don't require unlimited budgets. If you're ready to transform your front yard using smart, affordable strategies that deliver maximum impact, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Today I'm sharing the exact hacks that took my front garden from drab to stunning. Let's dive into these genius small front garden ideas that will revolutionize your curb appeal without breaking the bank. Hack 1. The focal point planter strategy. The biggest mistake I see in front gardens is spreading effort and money evenly across the entire space. Instead, create one stunning focal point that draws every eye. I positioned a large, decorative planter directly beside my front door and filled it with a dramatic arrangement of plants at varying heights. The key is scale. Go bigger than feels comfortable. I used a planter that initially seemed too large, but that oversized statement piece completely changed my entrance. Inside, I planted a tall ornamental grass for height, trailing petunias cascading over the edges, and colorful coleus filling the middle layer. This single planter cost about $40, including the container and plants, but it delivers more visual impact than $100 spread across multiple small improvements. Your eye goes straight to that gorgeous arrangement, and suddenly my entire front entrance looks designed and intentional. The trick is positioning. Place your statement planter where visitors naturally look first, typically flanking the front door or at the start of your walkway. That strategic placement makes your whole front garden feel more impressive, even if the rest is still a work in progress. Hack 2. Edge definition that changes everything. Nothing transforms a messy front garden faster than crisp edge definition. I spent one Saturday creating clean borders between my lawn and garden beds using a simple edge trimmer and some inexpensive landscape edging from the hardware store. The difference was immediate and dramatic. Suddenly, my beds looked intentional instead of random. The grass stopped creeping into planting areas and everything appeared maintained and cared for. This visual organization signals to everyone passing by that someone takes pride in this property. I used black plastic edging that sits mostly underground with just a small lip visible. It cost about $30 for my entire front garden perimeter. The installation took 4 hours, but the impact on curb appeal was worth every minute. Clean edges make even simple plantings look professionally designed. Here's the secret most people miss. The edging line itself becomes a design element. Gentle curves look more expensive than straight lines. I created flowing edges that guide the eye through my front garden, making the space feel larger and more thoughtfully planned than it actually is. Hack 3. Layered planting for instant maturity. Small front gardens often look sparse because plants are all the same height. I transformed mine by using the professional technique of layering: tall plants in back, medium in the middle, short in front. This creates depth and makes your garden look instantly mature and lush. I positioned my tallest shrubs against the house foundation. Mid-height perennials like black-eyed Susans went in the middle layer, low-growing ground covers and compact annuals filled the front edge. This simple principle arrangement made my garden look three-dimensional instead of flat. The investment was strategic. I bought larger specimen plants in the back where they create maximum impact, then filled in with smaller, less expensive plants toward the front. Total cost was about $70, but the mature, established look I achieved would normally take years of growth to develop. Color coordination within layers amplifies the effect. I kept my back layer all green foliage for consistency, added pops of purple and yellow in the middle layer, and finished with white and pink at the front edge. This color progression creates sophistication that looks professionally planned. Hack 4. Mulch magic transformation. Fresh mulch is the fastest, cheapest way to make your front garden look maintained and professional. I replaced my old faded mulch with fresh dark brown hardwood mulch, and the transformation was stunning. Everything suddenly looked neat, cohesive, and cared for. The dark mulch creates beautiful contrast against green foliage and colorful flowers. It unifies disparate garden areas into one cohesive design.
and it signals to everyone passing by that this garden receives regular attention and maintenance. I bought bulk mulch delivered from a landscape supply company rather than bagged from a big box store. This saved me about 50% on cost. 3 cubic yards covered my entire front garden for $60, whereas bagged mulch would have cost over $100. The application technique matters. I spread mulch 3 inches deep, pulling it back slightly from plant stems to prevent rot. The fresh, even layer looks immaculate and completely changed how polished my front garden appears. This single improvement had neighbors asking if I had hired landscapers.
Hack 5. Lighting for dramatic impact. Solar path lights and uplighting transformed my front garden from invisible at night to absolutely stunning. I positioned solar stake lights along my walkway for practical illumination, then added solar spotlights at the base of my favorite tree and large shrub for dramatic effect. The nighttime transformation shocked me. My house went from just another dark property to one that glows with warm, welcoming light. The uplighting on trees creates beautiful shadows and highlights architectural features I hadn't even noticed before. It looks expensive and sophisticated. Total lighting investment was $45 for 8 path lights and 2 spotlights, all solar-powered with 0 ongoing electricity costs. During the day, they're nearly invisible. At night, they create magic that makes my property stand out on the entire street. Strategic placement is everything. I lit the path to guide visitors safely, then used accent lighting to highlight my best features. The combination of practical and dramatic lighting makes my front garden usable and beautiful after dark, effectively doubling the hours my curb appeal works for me. Hack 6. Vertical interest with climbing plants. Small front gardens need vertical elements to create dimension and interest. I installed a simple trellis beside my front door and planted a climbing rose. Within months, I had vertical color and texture that made my entrance feel cottage garden charming. The trellis cost $15, the climbing rose was $12, but the architectural interest they added made my small front garden feel larger and more designed. Vertical elements draw eyes upward, creating the illusion of more space while adding layers of visual interest. You could use clematis, morning glories, or climbing hydrangeas, depending on your climate and sun exposure. The key is adding that vertical dimension that most front gardens lack. Even before plants fully establish, the trellis structure itself adds architectural appeal. I painted my trellis to match my house trim, creating cohesive design that looks intentional. This coordination between hardscape and house architecture is what professional designers do, and it costs nothing extra but delivers sophisticated results. Hack 7. Colorful container clusters. Instead of scattering pots randomly around my front entrance, I created purposeful container clusters that act as focal points. 3 pots grouped together beside my door, varying in height and size but coordinating in color and plant choices, create far more impact than 3 pots spread across the yard. I used inexpensive terracotta pots painted in coordinating colors. The tallest holds trailing ivy, the medium pot has bright geraniums, and the shortest contains colorful petunias. This tiered arrangement cost about $25, but looks like a professional designer staged my entrance. The grouping principle works because odd numbers of objects naturally look more balanced and interesting than even numbers. 3 or 5 pots clustered together create dynamic visual compositions that single pots can never achieve. During different seasons, I swap out just the plants while keeping the pot cluster structure. This flexibility means my front entrance stays fresh and seasonal without requiring complete redesign. The investment pays dividends year after year with minimal additional cost. Hack 8. Painted door impact. This isn't technically a garden hack, but painting my front door a bold, welcoming color completely transformed how my entire front garden is perceived. I chose a rich navy blue that coordinates with my flower colors, and suddenly my whole entrance feels cohesive and designed. The door color draws eyes forward through the garden to the entrance. It creates a visual endpoint that makes the journey through my front garden feel purposeful. And it costs only $30 in paint for transformation that rivals $1,000 renovations. Color psychology matters. Warm colors like red and yellow feel welcoming and energetic. Cool colors like blue and green feel calm and sophisticated. I chose based on the mood I wanted to create and the colors already present in my garden plantings. This door upgrade made me realize that curb appeal isn't just about plants. It's about creating a cohesive visual experience from street to entrance. The painted door pulls together all my garden improvements into one unified, impressive design. Hack 9. Symmetry for instant sophistication. I flanked my front door with matching boxwood shrubs and matching planters, creating instant symmetry that reads as sophisticated and designed. This mirror image arrangement is a classic design principle that never fails to create polished curb appeal. The matching elements don't have to be expensive. My boxwoods were $15 each, and I used simple terracotta pots. But the symmetrical placement creates visual order that makes my entrance look professionally designed and intentional. Symmetry works because our brains find balanced arrangements pleasing and harmonious. When visitors approach a symmetrical entrance, they unconsciously register organization and care. This psychological effect increases perceived property value significantly. You can create symmetry with any matching elements: planters, lights, small trees, or even decorative objects. The key is identical items positioned equidistant from your entrance center point. This simple principle delivers maximum sophistication for minimal investment. Hack 10. Seasonal color rotation. Instead of installing permanent plantings that look good only briefly, I created a rotation system using inexpensive annual flowers that I swap seasonally. This keeps my front garden looking fresh and colorful year-round without major investment. Spring brings pansies and tulips, summer features petunias and marigolds, fall showcases mums and ornamental kale. Even winter gets pops of color with hardy cyclamen and evergreen boughs. Each seasonal swap costs about $20, but keeps my curb appeal consistently impressive. I focus color changes in my most visible areas: containers flanking the door and the bed nearest the street. These high-impact zones get seasonal updates while less visible areas maintain stable, lower-maintenance perennials. This rotation strategy means my house always looks current and cared for. Neighbors comment on how my garden always looks perfect, but the secret is just swapping out a few key plants 4 times per year. Strategic effort, maximum impact, minimal cost.
Before making any plantings, I pressure washed my walkway, driveway, and house exterior. This simple cleaning removed years of dirt and grime, making everything look instantly newer and better maintained. The transformation cost nothing except time and water. Clean hardscapes make gardens look more impressive. Even beautiful plantings look neglected when surrounded by dirty concrete and grimy siding. But when everything is clean, even modest gardens appear well-maintained and valued. I also swept my walkway weekly and kept gutters clear of debris. These maintenance habits take minutes but preserve that fresh, cared-for appearance that makes curb appeal work. Consistency matters more than grand gestures. The psychological impact of cleanliness on perceived property value is significant. Research shows clean exteriors increase estimated home values by 5 to 10% in buyer perception. That's serious return on investment for a few hours with a pressure washer. 10 genius hacks that transformed my small front garden from forgettable to impressive for under $200 total. No landscaper required, no extensive construction projects. Just strategic improvements that deliver maximum curb appeal impact. The secret to budget garden transformation is focusing effort where it creates the most visual impact. Not everything needs to be perfect. You just need a few standout features that draw the eye and create the impression of overall excellence. What surprised me most was how quickly these changes happened. Within 1 month, I had a front garden that looked like it had been professionally designed and maintained for years. Neighbors who'd never spoken to me before suddenly wanted garden advice. A delivery driver actually complimented my landscaping.
But beyond the compliments, I gained something more valuable. I'm no longer embarrassed when guests arrive. I actually look forward to coming home because my front entrance feels welcoming and beautiful. That emotional shift is worth far more than the money I invested. Your front garden is the first impression your home makes on the world. It's how neighbors perceive you, how guests feel welcomed, and how you experience your own property every single day. These small investments in curb appeal pay dividends in pride, property value, and daily enjoyment. Start with just 1 or 2 of these hacks this weekend. Maybe the focal point planter and fresh mulch, or perhaps the edge definition and lighting. You don't need to do everything at once. Small, consistent improvements compound into dramatic transformation. If this inspired you to tackle your own front garden transformation, give this video a thumbs up and share it with friends who need curb appeal motivation. Subscribe to Daily Garden Fix and hit that notification bell so you catch all our budget-friendly garden content. Drop a comment telling me which hack you're trying first. I read every comment and love seeing what resonates with different gardeners. And if you implement any of these ideas, tag me in your before and after photos. I want to celebrate your transformations with you. Thank you for spending time with me today. Remember, beautiful curb appeal isn't about having the biggest budget. It's about making strategic choices that create maximum visual impact. Your dream front garden is more achievable than you think. Now get out there and transform that curb appeal. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, keep growing something beautiful.